I say, how are you doing today? How are you doing today? I am your host, Lacey G. Souldier Turner, and today I have a very special guest with me. He's a leader, part of a brotherhood. He was the Illinois District Director, the president of Metro East St. Louis Community Initiative. Man, we got the wonderful, amazing, talented Mike Boyd. Man, welcome to the platform.
Hey, man. Good morning to everybody.
So my first question to you, Mike, before we get into the walk, where were you born and raised, and how was your upbringing?
Man, I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, uh, down in North Memphis. It's where I was born and raised. I'm the oldest of three kids. Graduated from Northside High School. Uh, got a scholarship offer to attend Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri, one of the oldest Black HBCUs there in the Midwest. And majored in graphic arts. Uh, Minored in military science. Got commissioned as a lieutenant in the military. Went on for a couple of years in the reserves, that kind of stuff. Man, and basically, the life paths, the transitions and all that kind of stuff that you go through. So,
Okay,
but yeah,
so
that's where I was born and raised. Like I said, I'm the oldest of three.
okay, so let me ask you this. Like you said, Lincoln was part of one of the HBCUs. How was it attending Lincoln University? What was that environment like?
Man, it was eye opening. Uh, first time really away from home, coming from Memphis, being a predominant Black city, and then coming to Jeff City. It's like I had no idea what Jeff City was. I got a scholarship, so uh, coming there, it's the first time I ever had the opportunity. Well, not said opportunity, but the first time I experienced racism.
Mm.
Um, and that was a really eye-opening experience. You have to walk into a restaurant that's predominantly seated with a bunch of white folks, and everybody turns and look at you like as if you came from outer space or something. Really a very uncomfortable feeling. So my mom and uncle and we walk back out and let's go to McDonald's and we just grab something and call it a day.
Like, okay, I don't think we belong here.
Right. And then, the number of hills. Anybody ever been to Jefferson City, there's a number of hills. It's hilly. But the experience was quite rewarding. Basically, with the relationship between the instructors and the students, man, I really allowed for a more personable interaction, and it seemed like they really had a vested interest as you succeeding at making a name for yourself, but also making a name and sharing the name of Lincoln University or wherever you travel to. So, and that's what I really enjoyed about being at Lincoln. And what's so amazing about it. Um, Meeting all these folks. You think, I graduated with honors from Northside High School in Memphis. Well, you know what? I'm there competing against other students that have also that are bright, that are intelligent, and graduated with honors and what have you. Because again, I came from a single parent home. I didn't have no idea about fraternities. I understood social clubs, and we had those at the high school. Well, when you start seeing fraternities and sororities, and you say, man, what's this all about? So that really got me interested in what that brings about. But it really was eye opening, just the whole experience. But then years down the road, as I matured and grown, the people that you built those relationships with through college are now, those are very viable relationships outside of college.
Mm.
Because we talk about collaborating and networking, and that's exactly what life has brought about, the collaborating and networking and utilizing our resources in our toolbox.
Yeah.
So those life experiences have been quite helpful in just navigating the game of life.
Yeah. So, I gotta ask you this. I did a little bit of my research. So, I saw you was in a fraternity and you had the line Icy Mike. Can you tell me what the name Icy Mike came from?
And look, Icy Mike came about being smooth. Uh,
Yeah.
and really, being smooth, that's not only being smooth and dealing with relationships with the opposite sexes, it's being smooth and being able to get things done. A lot of times people will tell you that something can't happen, but you find a will and you find a way to get it done. And that's where Icy Mike comes from. Just, hey, not taking no for an answer. oftentimes people will tell you that, they give you all the reasons why it can't be done. However, I'm always looking for that other outlet to say, hey, here's how we're going to do this. And if somebody knows something that knows somebody else, look, I'm not afraid to ask for help. And I think that's where the biggest thing is that, hey, we're going to be smooth about this. We're not going to get rattled. And sometimes it's frustrating. It's just like the analogy that Michael Jordan used. His people recognize him as he stuck his tongue out when he was, concentrating. In my mind, I might have a crazy look on my face, look I'm angry, I'm upset. No, I'm just in deep thought, figure out how we're going to navigate this thing. So that's often what happens with this whole process. So that's Ice and Mike came about, not being discouraged. We always going to meet challenges in life, but the biggest thing is how you navigate those challenges.
I like that. Okay, so let me ask you this, right? How important is God and family to you?
Say it again.
I said, how important is God and family to you?
Man, he's the top priority. And I say he's the top priority mainly because, one, first of all, I know I can't do anything without him. If he doesn't give me the breath of life to wake up in the morning, let my feet hit the ground and get the day going, hey, then that's a viable piece. I think the other thing is I know a lot of times when things do feel a little heavy and like I got a great burden on my shoulders, I know I can always close my eyes and meditate and think about some of the things I've learned and heard in church. But also I know some of those things I've learned through the path of pledging Alpha Phi Alpha through the poems, and as they say, always say, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming you, trust yourself and all others doubt you. And I just know that, hey, I got to make it happen. And I think God is the one being that I can always rely on and know that he's going to give me strength. And he's also going to provide me the guidance, what the right things to do. And that's what I always know, that God is always at the forefront. That's always at the forefront. That's the driving force, So that's what, definitely God is always first priority.
Yeah. Hey, that's real talk. I put God in everything I do, so I totally understand. Yeah. So you done so much. One thing I want to talk about though, you established the City of Champions Awards program. Can you tell me about that?
Wow, man! As a past district director of Illinois for Alpha Phi Alpha, we were in the process of hosting the district conference in East St. Louis. I was on my last year as a district director. And what I would tell you is that oftentimes people outside of East St. Louis assume the worst. And what I've learned, like I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, but being in East St. Louis, I have established a great appreciation and fondness for the culture and for the people in East St. Louis. Everybody knows everybody, but those that are outside of East St. Louis really don't understand all the talent and the resources that exist in East St. Louis. There's a lot of land in East St. Louis that's waiting and begging to be purchased and developed. And the City of Champions came about, wanting to recognize folks that have come through the Metro East, through the school system, that have gone on and doing great things: doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, educators, and people in the military. And the main thing is one, when the district came, it was really to try to identify or let people say, hey, here are someone that came out of East St. Louis. You've heard them. Don Hopper was one, the Olympian, Don Hopper. Dr. Ted Savage, who played with the St. Louis Cardinals, was also my wife's uncle. Dr. Stephanie Carpenter, who was an educator. Chris McIntosh. These are people that are known around the city of East St. Louis. And we can go on and talk about a host of others that we've recognized as of late. But we want to share them with all of Illinois during the time that this came about. And we continue to want to share these individuals that are doing great things. And what I tell you this, a lot of times these individuals are very humble about what they're doing, because they do it because they're passionate about it. They don't do it for the accolades and the recognition. They do it because, hey, they know they genuinely care about the people in the community, care about the things that they have to offer and share. And these are people that you don't always hear about. And so many times you hear the same people getting awards and getting recognized. But you know what? There are people behind them that are doing just as great work. And I think that's what we really want to make sure that we do the City of Champions awards piece is by recognizing individuals that you don't hear about every day, in the news. So those are, and we just went through that by recognizing this past City of Champions, recent City of Champions awards piece. People like Tia, uh, the CAC program, and those programs and entities you don't hear much about, but they're doing powerful and great things for the people of East St. Louis, and they're making great impact and making impact on young folks' lives, and giving people the opportunity to see that they can do so much more. And I think that's the thing that we really try to do with the City of Champions, recognizing those that you don't hear much about.
Isn't Jackie Joyner Kersey from East St. Louis too?
Yeah, she's from East St. Louis, and we wanted to recognize her during the first year, but she was unavailable. And it still be time somewhere down the road to recognize her as well. But we're really trying to look at the up and coming uh, young folks, as well as still recognizing those that laid the foundation or paved the way for us. That are here that live in the East St. Louis area, and I think we're going to continue to do this because there's always greatness happening. There's up and coming talent, and man, I can't tell you, Michelle Tucker, who's with the what's this? I want to say what's the gosh, United Way. Yeah, the CEO, president, CEO. We recognize her, and we talked to Judge Zena Cruz with the St. Clair County Courts. So, these are people that you don't hear much about. They're making great impact for the city of East St. Louis.
Okay. So speaking of, Jackie Joyner Kersey, speaking of runners, you created, the citywide Juneteenth 5K walk and run, free family health fair. You got a 5K walk coming up. Can you tell the people about that?
Wow. June is recognized as Juneteenth, and we know the history behind Juneteenth. However, also June is known as National Men Health Awareness Month. And what we know with the health disparities in the Black community, we need as much help as we can possibly get. And what bothers me so much is that you can always do these health fairs, and people don't typically come out for whatever reason may be. But on the unfortunate side of that is that individuals get to a point where they're in health crisis. All of a sudden, they got to rush to the doctor or to the emergency room, and they get the bad news. With the Juneteenth 5K family fund run and walk family health fair, what that involves is one, really trying to make it a family involved, a family friendly type of event. Even though it's about men's men's health awareness month, what it really want to encompass the entire family, because the man's supposed to be the head of the household. So if the man ain't healthy, that's going to bring a great burden and a great weight on that family, especially the spouse or the significant other. And what we try to do with the Juneteenth family run, walk, family health fair is to have providers available to the community to help service those that are in need of health needs, so like blood pressure, diabetes checks, cholesterol, or maybe mammograms, dental screenings. All those things we want to provide for the citizens and for the community at no charge. The main thing is it's free. Come out, have fun. The other part of it too is we're gonna have a big party. It's a big party about celebrating life, celebrating health, and the people register for the run. And when they register for the run, they get the swag bag, all that good stuff, but also get to compete to see what their time looks like for us being a runner or a walker. And we utilize that money to put back in the community by investing in scholarships in the youth that are going on to higher education. So that's how those things come about. So we established that really to try to home in on engaging the community to do a much better, become more health conscious about, taking care of those things, being proactive than reactive in dealing with their health. That's what we really try to home in on.
Okay, can you tell the people what day that's gonna be, the location?
That's going to be Saturday, June the 17th, from 8 to 12. And the 8 to 12, the run gets started at 9 a.m. and should have things going and wrapped up around noon, no later than 1 o'clock. We're also working with the Juneteenth Commission that they have worked closely with, like people like Oprah Lee, who's identified as a mother of Juneteenth. But we work together in tandem for making sure we start the run gets everything kicked off for the city of East St. Louis. That's what the Juneteenth with Alpha Phi Alpha the Metro East St. Louis Community Initiative. That's partnership works well in serving the citizens of East St. Louis.
Okay,
and
what location?
It's going to be held at the East St. Louis City Hall.
Okay, and how can people register if they want to be a part of the walk and run?
What they can do, they can go to Give Butter Metro East Metro 5K. They can go to that site. Simply, they can look up the Metro East St. Louis Community Initiative, and the link should be there as well.
Yeah. So look, man, if y'all want to walk, y'all want to run, get your bag, y'all want to do all that, make sure y'all go register. So, Mike, let me ask you this. On your journey, you've done so much. What would you say has been your greatest challenge?
Helping people get out their own way of success. I think so often a certain person has to talk a certain way, act a certain way, have a certain something about their persona, whatever. And I think about that movie Coach Carter. When they ask that question, what's your greatest fear?
Yeah.
The greatest fear that we're powerful, but y'all measure.
Measure, yes.
And that right there is what gets me, is that we are fortunate to have the opportunity to work with so many diverse people with different talents. But we're a bit selfish. We talked about, you asked me about the spiritual question about God, and I keep going. I think about the 5 talents, how God gave each of these folks talents to be able to do something, to multiply it. And you had that one that wanted to hold on to it, and here I am, I'm looking at this thing, man. I'm just saying, look, what little talent I may have, I'm going to share it so that I can be a blessing to the next person, and with the hope that they'll be a blessing to the next person. But so often I just see we just have that crab in the barrel mentality that we want to keep holding folks back if we're not up front, or if we're not receiving the recognition or the accolades. And that's the biggest challenge. That's the biggest challenge. They said, hey, it's not about me. It's about the community. And that's the spirit that I come from. It's about me helping the community. Right. And in my everyday work, I work for the Department of Children and Family Services in Illinois doing investigation. And I constantly try to help make people's lives better, not miserable, because every time people hear about DCFS, they assume the worst.
Oh, Lord, here they go now. Facts. Let me ask you this, Mike. What would you say has been your greatest accomplishment?
You know what? It's a number of them, man. I look at it, as a past chapter president, we got our first fraternity house in the city of East St. Louis, and we reconstructed a park, the Illinois Avenue Park. Now we just recently acquired another building for the Metro East St. Louis Community Foundation as a part of the Alpha chapter, Delta Epsilon Lambda. That's another great accomplishment. But I will share this one because it's not local. It's working with Brother Byron Shabazz in the city of Macomb, Illinois, where we're in the process of erecting a cultural center in honor of Reverend Dr. C.T. Vivian. A facility. It's going to be a cultural center there in the city of city of Macomb. It's going to take a while to raise the $3.2 million that it's going to take to build a cultural center. But that would be one of the other great accomplishments, because again, I met him as a college student, as the chapter president of the college chapter Alpha Psi at Lincoln University. I met him before that time, before he became a member of the fraternity, and to like see life go full circle, to come back around and end up beating his kids.
Mm.
That's that right there, man. What sent chills up my spine, man. To be able to, to meet him, that civil rights legend, to introduce him, and then, to see him on television receive the medal from President Obama, and then to see his kids, man, that in itself, man, I can never forget that.
Mm.
I can never forget that.
Very powerful. So let me ask you this, Mike. What advice would you give to, anyone, young person, whoever old, who wants to get out here and become an entrepreneur, but is scared?
Man, don't allow someone to tell you what you can't do. Don't tell yourself that you can't do it, because you always resent that I woulda, shoulda, coulda. And I think that's the biggest thing. Don't allow a person to kill your dream or kill your ambition. Whether you lose or win, you learn a lesson,
Mm-hmm.
And when you lose, you gain a lot of knowledge along that journey. Continue to seek knowledge. Continue to give yourself the opportunities to battle against those that are considered the best. Um, I've lost some elections as a recent one. I lost a couple of elections. But I took my lessons from that. How do I look at it, retool, and then let's come back even greater and powerful with even more resources? I think really trying to help folks understand nothing in life comes easy. And it doesn't always mean that you got to constantly keep fighting, but always continue to prepare yourself for what the unknown may bring to you. And again, the big part of that, keeping God at the forefront, because God would not steer you down the wrong path. He's providing you with an opportunity to learn. He's providing you with the resource. He's providing you with the people. They say people come to you in your life for a time in the season. Take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate them, while you have that opportunity to be with them, to take their knowledge and the experience and those things that they have to share, and see how it fits into what you're trying to do. That's how I look at that.
That's a real answer right there. So, Mike, do you have anything else coming up that you want to promote?
Man, the biggest thing right now is just the Juneteenth 17th date from 8 to 12. The run starts at 9, just for people to come on out, have a good time. To see the city of East St. Louis, as it's right there, being held at the East St. Louis City Hall. We start running at 9 o'clock. We're gonna get it in before the heat sets in. Because we know the weather here ain't no joke. We just gotta get out there and have a good time. We hope to see a number of the members of the Divine Nine, the members of the NAACP. If you're a Mason, you're a Shriner, Eastern Star, Top Ladies of Distinction, Jack and Jill, whatever organization you with, come on out, enjoy fellowship with the men of Alpha Phi Alpha, Delta Epsilon Lambda, and the Metro East St. Louis Community Initiative. It's all about giving back to the community. We have to look out for one another, despite what our differences may be. Our goal is always to make sure that we're serving the community.
Okay. So if people want to reach out to you, how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, they can reach out to IcyMike1124 at yahoo.com.
Okay. Icy Mike. That's ICY. ICY.
IcyMike 1124.
Icy Mike. Smooth as the other side of the. All right, Mike. So my last question that I like to ask all my guests: when it is all said and done, and you are long gone from this earth, what is it that you want the people to know about Mike Boyd?
A brother that was genuine, that would give you his last dime or the last dollar just to serve the community. It wasn't about building a fortune. It's about really trying to make sure everybody has the taste of success. That's it.
All right.
Just making sure. I give you my last. I may not want to, but if I know,
I might not want to.
but if I know it's going to help you, if I know that it's going to help you. That it's just like I see these folks standing at the on the street corners, trying to get money, and I really a lot of times I wonder, I like to just follow them one day. You got 5 here, 2 here, 3 here, 50 cents over here. I just like to follow them one day and just say, "What?" Now I want to see how you gonna manage what you've been given.
I saw one with a sign 2 days ago. On the sign, they said, "If you give me money, I will not buy crack with it."
Man, that's crazy. But wow. Man, but I just, I really don't have a problem. I really like to try to really help people see their dreams come true. And I think, that's what I just like seeing, because so often I look at, it sounds a little crazy or cliche. When I'm looking at construction workers building and all that kind of stuff, and each day you drive by, you see something else been added. You see this been added. It's like, dang, okay. And even though while you're driving by, you're watching everything's coming to fruition. Sometimes look at people. You see where they started out from. If you never leave the finish line, you're never going to see what the end result could be. Right. You got to leave the finish line. Or let's say you got to leave the start to get back to the finish line. If you don't leave the start, you're never going to find out what's during that journey. And I know a lot of times when I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment as a kid, college guy growing up, man, I used to look at these stairs. I said, man, I hate climbing these stairs. But you know what? In order to get to where you try to go, you got to climb those stairs. You can't rest and stay down at the bottom. That's what Drake said. We used to be at the bottom down here. Yeah. So, man, but life is good, man. Life is good.
Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate you. When we write this article and promote this 5K walk, because I feel it's important for everybody. And I just want to say thank you for doing everything you're doing in the community.
Well, thank you for being persistent. For making sure I finally respond to my phone.
Hey, I know how busy it get for people. So trust me, I understand. Bro.
It's been crazy. These past few weeks, man, have been extremely crazy. But I'm looking forward to it, working with the Juneteenth Commission, working with the members of the Divine Nine, and this is, man, God has really been good, and I give him all the accolades because, again, it's not me, it's him being able to give me the talent and the sense and the wherewithal to be able to reach out and not have a closed hand, but an open hand to say, hey, here's what I have to offer. You can take it and figure out how it works. Because, again, I really reflect back on a lot of not talent, but wisdom that people have shared with me. And some of it used to make sense to me, but now I fully understand. You look back, it's like, I was like, oh, what the hell are they talking about? But you know what? As I've grown older and a little bit more wisdom, I get it. I get it. I get it. Especially having kids and grandkids. It's crazy.
All right, Mike. Well, I thank you. I appreciate you. You have the rest of a good day. Good Friday. Enjoy this weekend if you can. And we'll be in touch.
Yes, sir. Y'all take care, man.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.